speaking of producers, my producer had a question for all you guys. Something that is mulling on, or we're mulling on at the moment when it comes to promotion.
Yep.
And we've gone through this stage at the moment where, so you guys have been podcasting for like 6-7 months. I think Jase, you've been doing it for a couple of years now. We went through the stage of everything being like audiograms to like, you've got to have video now, to everyone has to have a YouTube channel. And now it's sort of all about Spotify. Where do you guys see the future of promotion? How are you getting that cut through to acquiring more listeners, users, people that are interested in what you're doing?
Yeah, honestly for us, I think actually doing it outdoors, to be honest, is where we'll see like the biggest gains, because so one of the things we do is on a Saturday, we'll just grab the 2 USB mics, a laptop, head down to Kangaroo Point and just chill by the river. And you can get, thousands of people over the course of an hour sitting there, come by and check it out. And one of the things we've been meaning to do for a while is actually just get like a big sort of poster, chuck it up and say something like, Mere Mortals live recording or whatnot. And, for us, because we're still so small, I think I personally want to concentrate more on the Brisbane area. And because that's one of the things I'm doing as well. Like I don't really have that much of an interest in interviewing the real high profile people. I'd rather just find people doing like really intriguing or random stuff just in everyday life in Brisbane and interviewing them. So like I talked with a guy the other day who does ultra marathons, but he weighs like 110 kilos. He's a big guy. And so that's I find that really interesting. So like, why the hell are you doing that, man? That must be so hard compared to, 50 kilo people running around. So for me personally, I think, more branding awareness in our local area, and the digital side will sort of, I have no idea where that'll go. So I'll focus on what I know I can control, which is getting out there, actually meeting people, talking to people, and having people physically see what's going on.
What about you, Jase?
Oh man, I don't know. I think about it a lot. Like I definitely think in terms of, if you want to, I guess, talk in terms of like what works. I mean, for me, like the YouTube thing, basically, if you look at my YouTube channel, it's fucking moto clickbait, essentially. Like that's the shit that works on YouTube. And I kind of had in my head, I was like, no, this is what I want it to be. Like we're meaningful and we have these great conversations and you can take so much from each podcast. And it's not just the moto, but like you can kind of be on your high horse of like, fucking listen to everything. It's so good. But then it's like, I think the biggest thing that I've realized, especially lately, is like, give the fucking people what they want. Like any great artist will tell you that once you make your art, it's not yours anymore. So it's like, I do the thing, and then these people over here on this channel, they like the fucking clickbait moto shit. Give them the clickbait moto shit. And then if they want to come and listen to the podcast on iTunes or Spotify and listen to the other amazing people that don't ride a motocross bike, then they can. And so it's not up to me to like try and dictate what people should like. I think that as soon as I let go of that, it sort of worked a little bit better for me. Like I see like iTunes is iTunes. It's like a weird deal. Like that's the biggest channel for me by like so far. And there's so many people that listen to it that will never contact me, they'll never send you a DM. They'll never leave a review. Like they're a ghost to me, And then Instagram is just, it's quite personal. Like I'll reply to everybody. I try and have genuine conversations, give people advice. That sort of gives me like a bit of that's like the rudder of like, get what the boys were saying earlier, you like listen to people, you get their feedback or whatever. And then YouTube is like, I just try and get as many views as possible because it makes me money. And then I just kind of don't give a fuck at that point. It's just like that's their thing. Like they're like, oh, you fucking clickbaited me into this. And I'm like, well, you clicked it and now you're commenting and you'll either liked or dislike. So thank you regardless. But yeah, it's the
YouTube
honestly,
comments
man,
hilarious.
Yeah, it's just a weird one. And I think that already, like if you told me 3 years ago where I'd be, it's already so much bigger than I ever thought it'd be. So like from here on out, I don't think I'm as worried with growth as what I was. And even so last month we had our biggest month across every platform, and it's almost just like, fuck, now like you just set this bar, and it becomes a weird thing if you focus on it, and you hear people more and more as they, I guess the numbers do get bigger, they stop looking at it. And I think that at a certain point I can see the thinking behind that, because at the start you're like wanting to grow because you want it to be sustainable. But now it's like, okay, it's sustainable. And if I'm obsessing over the numbers, like that's just all out of fucking ego.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I stopped looking at the numbers like 2 years ago. I just have someone else tell me as like an update on a weekly basis when we do our review. And I'm more interested in what you mentioned before about like the YouTube comments. I fucking love that. Like my favorite thing is some random person I've never spoken to before. I think when you guys hit me up individually, like I just thrive off that shit. It's like a brain wank. I don't know how else to phrase it, but it's just like the best, because it's like a real person.